What's going on, YouTube?
What's up, YouTube?
Welcome to today's episode of Quit Playing, episode 58.
58.
We're your hosts, live with Enrique.
Do lo hace.
And, let's just jump right into the episode. How you been, bro?
Bro, I had such a fun-ass weekend.
So did I. Had a little mini vacay. What'd you do?
Well, I got a new camera. You want to go ahead? Yeah, let's go ahead. Just capture.
There's the new camera! It's the Sony A7 Mark III, baby.
A7S Mark III.
A7S. My bad. That's actually better than the original A7 Mark III.
Well, yeah. It's been a fun weekend. I took half a day off of work expecting that the camera was going to get here on Friday, but it didn't. The only thing that came was the fucking lens. And then on Saturday, fortunately, the camera came at like 2:30, some shit like that. And I spent a lot of my time trying to set it up prior to, getting ready to go shoot with my cousin. Which was fun. It was a good-ass time. I caught a lot of dope footage, a lot of good photos. Who would have thought that I had a little bit of photographer in me? Just a little bit.
True. Why don't you tell us about the lens and a little bit about the camera?
Oh, damn. So one of the main things that I was looking for when I got this camera was mainly for video purposes. So when I first got into it, I was looking at the Canon R5, I believe it was. And which was, I think it was more of a newer camera that had just recently came out as well, like from Canon.
Right.
And I was taking a look at that camera, and I was also taking a look at, originally I was taking a look at the A7S, or no, the A7. I'm sorry, I was just taking a look at the original one.
Yeah.
And then the more I got into it, the more I started trying to figure out what was gonna suit best for my needs. And
this is true.
I like shooting both. Well, I like taking photos, so I was looking obviously for that quality, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I was also taking a look at like the quality of video and stuff, like more of a cinematic type feel that I was looking at. So I was looking at, that's how I kind of decided to step it up a little bit and started looking at the A7S Mark III. I couldn't help but look at the FX3 that Sony had dropped.
Yo, we did talk about it. That's sick. That's a sick option.
But it was too out of my price range, and it was about like $5,000, I think, for that camera. But it was a little bit too much for what I was looking for, just mainly because I don't know. It was like, why would I buy a cinematic camera and use it for photography? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's not the purpose of it,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Same thing for the R5 from Canon, because that camera is mainly a photography camera. It's not meant for video, although you could shoot video. But what my findings were that a lot of people were saying that they were having overheating issues whenever they would be recording at 4K,
like 60, yeah, like 4K 60 frames, 4K 30 frames. It was fine. But any higher frame rate at that high resolution, I'm sorry, not 4K. I think it was 8K, because I think it's possible to shoot 8K.
I don't think it was an 8K. I think it was a 4K, because they have
the R6.
I don't know. It might be the R6. What's up, Emacero? Whoa. You good? Okay. So what happened was I was taking a look at the R5, and it had overheating issues. But they have two separate 4K options. So there's like a regular 4K, and then there's like a high quality 4K. And the high quality 4K was pretty similar to the 4K that Sony is offering.
Yeah.
But that's where the overheating issues were, because it was kind of pushing that camera. So I looked at the Sony A7S Mark III. This camera, it's got internal image stabilization. And then I already liked the glass. I liked the feel of the camera, because I got a chance to actually check it out, that my cousin had it. It felt good. I'm new to Sony, but it didn't take too long on picking up on how to change the parameters.
Right, camera's a camera, bro. Like,
yeah. So then I was taking a look at like some of the lenses. So I was like, well, what's a good lens that's gonna provide me good quality, but it's also gonna kind of be able to do both. So I ended up getting this Sony Zeiss. It's a 55 millimeter. It's a 1.8 aperture.
It's a prime lens. Nice.
It's a prime lens. Fortunately for me, the Sony has an internal zoom, a digital zoom that I can use.
That's why you're able to see me this close, baby. That's why you got this clean image this close. But
true story. But yeah, I took a look at that. Lost my train of thought.
You got the prime lens.
Yeah, so I ended up getting the prime lens because it's both versatile. You're able to take really good photos with it, and you're also really able to take really good video with it as well. Plus, it was a little bit more on the inexpensive side compared to a lot of the other lenses that I was looking at from Sony. A lot of them were, ranging mainly 1,000, 1,200 and up. Especially once you get closer to the G Master series and all that stuff, and
I'm a little hesitant about G Master series, but that's a topic for a different day. But no, yeah, I completely agree. Actually, it's funny because I was looking at Zeiss way back in the day before I had even moved out of my parents' house. With my older Nikon, they had adapters and stuff like that, and I thought to myself, Zeiss makes some pretty nice lenses.
Right.
So I'm not surprised that you went with the Zeiss. G Master has only been out for a few years. It is quality glass, but I mean it is a little bit higher price range for me. I just didn't like the way it looked. But it's very common and it's very popular, especially with the Alpha series. A lot of people are gonna go with the the G Masters with the Alpha series. But yeah, I was super surprised you went with the Zeiss. I think it looks great. Everybody loves that bokeh, so I love that you were able to buy one with such a large aperture at a 1.8. The Nikon only goes to 4.0.
Yeah.
So I mean, I was looking at getting this exact zoom lens with a lower aperture, which is just as much as the goddamn camera, and I was just like, I'm gonna hold up on it. But no, I love that you got a prime because not a lot of people are comfortable with prime, especially the I guess what I would say, not beginners. What's the word? Not amateurs. It's on the tip of my tongue. Enthusiasts.
Gotcha.
Enthusiast photographers or creatives that use cameras, don't really tend to mess with prime because zoom is a little bit more comfortable. If you don't want to get too close to your subject, you can still be at a distance and zoom in. Or, if you feel like you're too close to your subject, you can zoom out. But with the prime lens, you got to do all the work, baby. You got to step in, step out, depending on what the picture is.
And to be honest with you, that was one of the things that I learned about the camera as I started playing around with it. Because to be honest with you, I didn't even think of having the photography aspect. And I was just strictly going for video, occasional photos. And I found myself taking photos where I was actually looking through the viewfinder. And I was like, I'm maneuvering through this. I'm trying to capture this shot. So I'm literally have this camera up and I'm getting in there. Like I'm, I'm going, trying to figure out how I want this shot to look. I'm messing around with the f-stop. I'm playing around with the shutter speed, kind of maintaining that at 50. And then adjusting the ISO as I go. Same for the f-stop, depending on what style of footage that I want.
Right.
And it just kind of came a little bit natural to me once I started really picking up on these little parameters that I can adjust. You know what I mean? So.
And I think it's awesome because it's definitely going to force you to grow as a photographer and videographer. With movies, films, or like videography, people like to go with prime lenses. Most photographers do as well because it really forces you to, move into your subject, especially street photography. I think the 55 or the 60 prime lens is the go-to because you always want to be at the ready. You don't want to have to constantly just be like zooming in, zooming out, wasting time trying to capture it when you're really fixed.
Bam, like, let's go. Yeah, we're here.
Exactly.
Dope.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I can't wait to see what you are able to, create with this beautiful machinery. It's going to be dope. How good do I look, folks? Let us know in the chat over here. But why don't we get into the real topic of discussion and start this gameplay, bro? What you think?
I love it, bro. I'm going to let you go ahead and start it off. So today we're going to talk about, Acts of violence? Is that the topic?
I just love that as the title.
Games and violence? Violent games?
Violent games. Acts of violence. Correlation. We'll just leave it at that.
All right, bets.
But yeah, I chose this topic of discussion because it is a little bit old news, and I felt,
it's about a month old.
Yeah. We should have talked about it on episode like 55 or 54.
Right. Oh, we're gonna talk and play at the same time?
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
All right.
This game is violent, bro. This game forces us to kill each other, bro. We have to kill each other.
Smash each other, bro.
Smash, bro. Smash. You know what I'm saying?
Let's smash.
But yeah, it's a bill for those, and I don't think it's just here. If I'm not mistaken, the bill was elsewhere.
I just know it for here in Illinois. That's all I know. And it was it House Bill 3531. That's what it was.
And it's applying to our state and city. But yeah, I saw the I didn't see it directly in the news or like source anywhere. I did see it from my boy Philip DeFranco. So if you don't watch Philip DeFranco, we can leave a video in the description down below so you guys can go ahead and watch where I actually heard it from. And yeah, he was sort of talking about the bill and how he was like upset about it. He's like, yo, like seriously, this is an old debate. Why is it even still being talked about? Like, we know that video games and violence have no correlation. And it did remind me of having this debate in school, and I was just like, you know what? We are playing video games. Why don't we talk about it? Because we do live in the state of Illinois, and we do live in the city of Chicago, and that's where it's mainly being affected. And the game that they're using as a reference is GTA. So I was like, okay, well, I play GTA. I can see where, kids, teenagers can be influenced, but I feel like there's a lot of factors in play that I also want to touch on because we do have talking points and questions for each other. And yeah, I don't know. When I saw it, I immediately thought of you, the show, and I was like, you know what? Let's talk about this because it's affecting us. And we play games. I wouldn't say. Would you say Smash is violent? I mean, it's.
Well, me personally, it's like, yeah. I mean, there's violence because it's a fighting game.
Right.
But the thing, I can't even see the. I can't even see the fight. I'm sorry, the Nikon's in the way.
Oh, no worries. I'll definitely fix that. But go ahead. You were saying.
So, it's a little bit different for me because I haven't really ever as many fighting games that I've like as many games that I've played, whether it be Smash Brothers, No Mercy, Zelda Ocarina of Time, I've played Doom, I've played even if you want to go ahead and throw racing games in there, because sometimes you could get a little competitive to the point where you're pushing people's cars off the road to win the game, right? So that becomes a little bit violent. You're playing that. I've played Call of Duty. I've played Halo. But I've never had this thought or this idea where it's going to be, hey, I'm going to go,
commit an act of violence.
Yeah, commit an act of violence. I've never even thought of that. Like, that didn't even influence me. Like, if anything, I was mainly just doing it for competitive reasons because I'm playing this game to beat the other people that are in the game. But I'm not going to go out and do this in real life.
Right. And then, yeah, I think it's important that we do talk about, like, it did start back in the 1950s. It started off in comics, and that's why you see that A in a lot of comics because it's like comic authority or something. Like, it has to be regulated or it has to be approved by the committee of, like, comics. I forgot the name of the body or the entity that
you don't think we
approves.
should be talking about this, like, in actual camera and not playing it because I'm kind of giving half-ass answers while I'm playing this game, and I don't really like that.
He said, I'm not
saying
really
I'm not really liking it.
True. No, yeah, it started back then, and it started off with comics, and then I saw that, it was in Death Race.
Right.
It was considered the first violent game, and because it wasn't just all superheroes in the comics. There was some violent as comics back then, and the comics did originate in like that era because it was helping kids get by during the World War, and there was a bunch of shit going on in that time.
Right.
But yeah, just to think.
What about cartoons? What about cartoons like
Yeah.
What's it called? The Roadrunner and what's it called?
Him trying to kill
and Tom and Jerry, like they were coming at each other's necks like all the time.
all
I was
the
like,
damn time.
I didn't
dude.
hear any controversy over that. Like
Right, exactly.
the Three Stooges, you will watch that they would literally beat their asses,
Beat
each other
other's
up
asses
on camera.
up, bro.
That's violent.
Yeah, and it's just like it goes to like, where do you cross the line? Where what's the extent of like extreme acts of violence, you know? And how influential is it? How is it influencing this child? First of all, I don't really think it's on the children. I really don't. It's on the parent.
Right.
If it's rated M for mature, your child should not be playing it no matter how much they want to be crying about it. If they're going to go play it at their friend's house, let them go play it at their friend's house. But I don't think it's going to affect them if you don't buy the game for them.
Right.
It's rated M for mature for
They're
a
going to
reason.
find a way to do it anyways, to be honest with you.
Exactly.
The more you try and take it away from them, the more that they're going to try and get it.
Right, exactly. And I just feel like, you know, it also depends on how you were growing up, how you were influenced, how easily you're influenced. But at the same time, like, you could say that about movies, like you said, about cartoons. Like, I don't...
Bro, WWF, WWE... I was doing all types of wrestling moves on my brother. Like, come on.
Right, like this doesn't
that makes more sense to me.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know. It did remind me. It brought me back when I heard that statement and about the bill. It just reminded me of like days where I had debates in school and the teacher was adamant, like, no, video games do cause acts of violence, and I'm just like, but how? There's so many factors that come into play, and I don't think it's just the video game. It's like a free world. Like, think of Minecraft, for instance. That's another open world game.
Right.
You still have to kill zombies or
the creepers or whatever. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's just like you have to kill pigs or do you have to kill animals to get pork and stuff like that? Like, death is just a part of life.
So I thought it was real interesting that I don't know why, but I forgot who the individual's name. I'm not gonna state the politician's name that's trying to push this bill through here in Illinois. But one of his main reasons for trying to push this bill here in Illinois was he was trying to use the carjackings, the amount of carjackings have gone up, and blaming it on like Grand Theft Auto and stuff like that. Why there's more carjacking? It was like double since 2019, so it increased. You know, it doubled. And I thought it was kind of a lousy excuse. I was like, well, why is this guy choosing this to come after video games? So I was like, I didn't dig into it too much, but it made me think, like, what does this guy have against video games that he's really trying to come at it? You know what I mean?
Right.
So I was it's a little
You're like
confused,
yeah. And then it also depends on like whether the kid is a kid, adult, teenager is playing the video game for pleasure or competitively. Like when you played video games, was it always competitively or just for pleasure, just to get both, right?
Both, but
because you were trying to beat your friend's ass in Call of Duty,
right?
Or Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter.
You play online. Even when I would play Grand Theft Auto, like I was just mainly trying to have a fun experience and living vicariously through this video game where I know I'm not going to go out there and try and get 5 stars where all these police and the whole army is trying to chase me. But it was fun in the game. I'm like, yo, I really got, you know, it
raises your anxiety. It you know, gives you that rush of like, oh, I'm running from the authorities, but there are no consequences.
You're
but
like
any person in their any person in their right mind, you know, should know right from wrong. They should know that your actions have consequences.
True.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, where I need to see some studies, because I've never seen any studies where people lose touch of reality when they indulge too much into video games. Like, what studies have shown or proven?
I mean, I don't know if that. I mean, you could kind of look at The Sims. some people lose touch of reality by playing these type of games where they build a life in this game and they completely exclude real life. You know what I mean?
There are some effects, but I don't think it goes.
But in
to
terms
that
of
extent.
violence, like when it comes to violence, yeah, we would need to see some sort of
studies. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you can say that about Minecraft too. Children are like losing touch of reality or losing social skills because they're playing too much Minecraft,
or just being on the computer and their phones in general.
Exactly. Like, I feel like you can make that argument with social media as well. Like, my kids are watching fights online and stuff. Like what was that show? Backyard. Motherfuckers were just beating their asses.
What the fuck? I know what you're talking about.
It's like UFC or something like that.
Uh-huh.
It's on YouTube, and it's just like, come on. There's other ways that a child can be influenced other than just video games. And yeah, that does beg the question, like, what does this guy have against video games where he's going to go be like, oh, Chicago's car hijacking is due to Grand Theft Auto. Like, hold on, what? Hold on, let's take a couple steps back here because you made a very far leap here. Like, where did this come from? Where's the information? Where are the studies? You know what I mean?
Probably the studies are getting paid by corporations. The competitors, right? They're like,
hey, we found some studies. They might not be 100% accurate, but
we noticed that people are buying a lot more violent games, and we want people to buy ours. So can you get rid of them? Can you please make it harder for them to get? Give us a chance here.
And yeah, I feel like we breezed through a lot of these questions, but I want to hear your thoughts on kids and restrictions on these video games. Who does it fall on? Who's responsible?
Oh yeah, it's gonna fall on to the parents are the responsible ones. I mean, they should know how to control their children. They should try to figure out how to ease them in, because regardless, the kids are going to be exposed to the real world anyways.
Exactly.
So it's up to the parents to really try and figure out how to properly navigate them into what it is that's going to be real life, even if it's on the game. But sometimes some people are a little, or some kids are a little bit more patient than others. Some kids, you just need to just give it to them, because the faster they get it, the faster they get over it.
Yeah, no, yeah, I completely agree. I think it's really more so on the parent, but then I feel like even 18 legally, although you're an adult, you can vote, you can do this, that, and the third. I still feel like you're a child. I feel like I'm still a child, and I'm 25. Yeah. Maybe that's just my mentality, and because I'm sometimes just childish. But even like now, I still feel like I'm very young.
Right.
I'm 25.
No, yeah,
I'm a quarter of.
We are.
Yeah.
We are. We're barely a quarter in of our life.
Right, and so then let's put it in perspective. An 18-year-old, someone that is now old enough to buy mature games, who's rated M,
who's recently gone through puberty, pretty much,
and still going through a shitload of hormones.
Yes, it's like you don't know where you're at, you don't know where your mind's at, you don't know what you're thinking.
Right. So then
you're so easily influenced, all types of stuff.
So then, how do you regulate that age? And do you think at that point in time, like when you're at that age, do you know right from wrong? Should you know right from wrong?
Well,
would you think someone at the age of 18 would be heavily influenced like that via a violent video game?
Well, it's a little bit different for me, because I pretty much went out on my own to try to figure things out by myself,
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't necessarily put it on the video games that I was out there and being violent or anything like that. I was just really just trying to do what I had to do.
Mm-hmm.
So by no means, but I don't think there should really be any restrictions, because I still kind of knew what I was doing, even though
what you're doing.
Yeah, even though I had no idea what I was doing,
Right.
So.
Like, subconsciously what you're doing is right.
Yes,
or
I'm
wrong.
trying to survive, but I don't know if it's right or I don't know if it's wrong.
And then another question is like, what did influence you at that time, around that age of 18? What were some of your bigger influences?
I wasn't even playing a lot of video games. Actually, that's not true. Because I was already playing like Call of Duty and stuff like that when I was in Grand Theft Auto when I got a chance. But for the most part, I was really stuck in my music. So that was really what kind of kept me grounded and away from any type of more possible violent crimes.
Or just crimes in general.
Yeah,
not just crimes.
Crimes in general.
Yeah.
Kind of kept me leveled. How about yourself?
No, at that age, 18, I was in high school. Bro, I was just hanging out with my boys. Andy, Rio, Kyle. So we were either, at school, I had after school curricular activities, or I was hanging out with my boys at the gym. Sometimes the skate park. At 18, I was like on and off with skating. Or if not, we were spending it at a park playing volleyball.
So it sounds like video games were nowhere near in the picture when we were 18. So there really doesn't even need to be any restrictions,
Bro,
right?
and I was doing some dumb stuff at 18. And, bro, no, I was. And it's sometimes when the guys didn't want to play video games, we were playing some NHL or some NBA, or
Shit.
NFL.
All the shit I was doing was because of me. I was dumb as hell. I ain't even gonna lie. I was dumb as hell.
It was on me, bitch. No, for real. Like, it was literally my choice. I knew what I was doing, whether it was right or wrong, and I felt like, although you are at a young age and you're still naive, I still feel like there is a solid argument. You do know right from wrong at that age, at 18. Right. I don't feel like... Yeah, I was playing Grand Theft Auto at a younger age, too, but I never really liked Grand Theft Auto because I was just like, these missions are too easy. This is dumb. Unless I had cheat codes. Then I was just like, let me get some dumbass helicopter. Let me jump off with this parachute. Like, I was doing things that was... Right. I was doing things that I knew you weren't able to accomplish in the real world.
Right.
It to me, it just boggles my mind how someone would still make an argument like that when you know damn well that's not.
It's got to be some personal shit, bro. That's what it sounds like. It's got to be some personal shit. Like, I don't know. Maybe his son was playing fucking video games and
he was getting sick of his son just on the TV.
Yeah,
and shit
he's
like in his room on the computer.
Fucking he turned into a drug dealer because of a stupid ass fucking game. Damn it.
True.
Another one.
And the follow-up question is, over time, did video games become more violent, or are they still just as violent?
If anything, bro, I look at some of the games from back in the day, and those motherfuckers were scary. Like, compared to what you got now, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, like, it could be a violent game, and, like, maybe if you do virtual reality, then that's a little bit different. Like on the Black Mirror episode where the guy's in that haunted house and stuff like that. That's pretty fucking scary.
Oh, yo, I would love to do some virtual reality shit like that.
Right.
But that was scary.
That's
damn. Imagine you have a fucking heart attack or you just fucking die of an aneurysm or some shit from a virtual reality game like that. That is scary.
That's some real shit.
But yeah, like I don't know. I feel like it's no fun if there were repercussions in the video game. Obviously, there is, like, for GTA. Let's use the video game, for example. We're not playing the video game. We're playing a violent smash game. But let's use GTA, for example.
Okay.
If you gain stars and you are caught, what are the repercussions? You lose everything.
You lose everything. You're arrested or you get killed. Wasted.
Right. So the game is portraying real life consequences.
Yeah.
You either die or you lose everything. They don't go to the extent of, ex-convicts. It's hard to get jobs after you get out. Like,
would I say that they got more violent? I would say that they got more realistic.
Yeah, right. Like Mortal Kombat, it's still the same type of violence. It's just now the blood looks that much more real. The bone cracking is that much more detailed. You know what I mean? Like,
people need to realize that this stuff actually happens.
Right, exactly.
People, when we used to go to war and there was like groups of men that had no idea what the hell was going to happen. They just ran at each other with a bunch of swords and
guns and
whatever the fuck it was. And that's
this is for our country. And you're able to go to war at 18 too. That's fucking crazy.
You don't even know any better.
Yeah, for real. And you're just like, well, I'm getting paid and this job title sounds fancy, so I'm just going to sign at the dotted line and sign my life away for 4 years or forever, how long I'm being told that I'm going to be gone. Damn. You know what I mean?
That shit makes you angry, innit?
It does. It just reminds me of old days back in school when I'm just like, this debate doesn't make any sense to me. Until this day, it doesn't make any goddamn sense to me.
You want to know? I almost went to the Air Force.
What?
Yeah. I passed the test and everything, but I just chickened out.
I was considering going to the Marines. But then I had surgery and I
didn't really chickened out, but I just kind of told myself, man, I'm going to go to school anyways. Because that was the only reason I want to go
Yeah.
to the Air Force was because I was trying to get my schooling paid for.
Yeah, and I let my parents influence me. They're like, just try school first, and if you don't want to go to school, then you can enlist in the military. And I was like, all right, bet. I went to school, I dropped out, and I became what I wanted to be.
Became a photographer.
Yeah, I went to school for photography. I was sort of not doing so well.
Bro, can you imagine if you would have been a photographer but in the military? You would have got a lot of good
That's
photos.
what I'm saying, bro. That's what my goal was, because originally when I went to college, I thought of going for photojournalism, and I was like, imagine what I could, the images or the video that I would be able to capture at the front lines, telling the stories of the soldiers that are fighting for our country. You know what I mean? And then not only that, capturing the lives of others, or, you know, when you see pictures of when journalists go to war zones and taking pictures of Iraq or wherever the case may be, you see how the other country is affected as well, or what their means of living are. And it's just like, it really puts things into perspective. And that's what my goal was when I was trying to be a photojournalist. I wanted to tell stories and further extend the truth.
True.
And that's what I wanted. But I was just like, all right, I'm gonna go to school for photography then. And I had to pay out of pocket. I was not given financial aid, and I said, this is too much for me. I'm leaving. And I became a photographer anyway. But yeah, let's get these final thoughts out. I want to ask, and I want you to give your final thoughts. Who is responsible? The developers, the advertisers, the parents, the children, or the government? Who's responsible for all of this?
Oh my God, that's. I don't know, bro.
Who should be held responsible then?
The parents.
The parents. Absolutely.
The
I agree.
parents.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you believe...
That was a good question, by the way.
Thank you. If you believe otherwise, I want to hear your thoughts. Leave it in the chat, in the comments. Do you think video games are that influential where it could influence someone outside to do something, you know, unspeakable? Taking somebody else's life? Hijacking a car? Just let us know. And let's get into this gameplay. Yeah, bro, I thought, you know, since we were talking about the building blocks of a business and playing Jenga, and, you know, last episode we were sort of talking about the topic, and I thought, you know what, let's just...
Bro, you know I was not going to be able to give you no solid answer.
Yo, I was giving solid answers. What you talking about? I was giving some good answers, too.
Yeah, bro, but I'm focused on trying to beat you. I'm not focused on the answer. You know I don't like multitasking.
True. I'm out here multitasking like a motherfucker. This is, what do you call it? When you know how to do something without really having to, like riding a bike. What do you call it? Muscle memory.
Yeah.
Like muscle memory, dog. Oh, no. Ah. Yeah, now that you focus, you out here being my ass. Huh? Ooh. But yeah, I'm kind of bummed that we did talk about this a little bit later, although it's still going on. I'm pretty sure the bill didn't move on to the next stage. Oh, that was a good hit. No! Oh, bro, if you hit that down smash so good, bro. Jumps. A little jumps. That is cool. Wait, I didn't even touch you, bro. I'm on second stop. What? Oh! Damn, bro, you're getting fast. Yeah, but I don't think I bothered to even look up the status of the bill. I just know that he was trying to pass it due to the issues that were going on in the city of Chicago, which was, like you said, hijacking.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting because what are the chances that the number of hijackings go up due to pretty much the coronavirus? So you could obviously tell that there's been a lot of unfortunate, people right now due to the nature of this pandemic.
Yeah, and he wants to blame it on video games. I mean, I think you could.
Yeah, he was probably just trying to come up with something to do. He's like, yo, I ain't got nothing going on. You want me to make some shit up? I got it.
Right. That's so funny though, because it's true. Because think about it. It is a solid argument because people are staying home. Kids are going to school from home, you know, and it does give the kid more of an opportunity to stay in and play video games because they can't go out with friends. We're in a pandemic, you know. Oh.
Yeah, I think that's what one of the problems that I was listening to on Spotify when it came to like the trying to keep kids focused. That there's just there's some people that aren't home that can't keep their kids to focus on the schooling because they have to go out and work and they have to be able to provide. Meanwhile, these kids are at home. They're not gonna want to go to school. They're gonna want to go and fuck off. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. No. And I think I think you and I can testify to that by seeing it firsthand with not only our spouses' nieces or siblings or cousins,
right?
Whatever the case may be. For me, it's siblings. Like I see my little sister. She gets very distracted very easily. Even though she has class, she'll go off to the side and do something and come back, and it's just like, yo, if a kid had a dope setup like we do, have numerous screens, have class on one screen and play video games and have their camera or their audio off.
Well, then what's the problem? They're gonna want to come. They're gonna want to stay and they're gonna want to learn. But when there isn't really much to going on at home, and they'll rather be out and about. They go figure it out somewhere else.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I can see where Dude was coming from, but at the same time, I just think it's an argument
I think he could have came up with a better argument. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. No. I completely agree. You're so right. Like, yo, this is. You said it best. I know you were joking, but it's just like, oh, you want me to make some shit up? Bet, say less. Like, that's what I feel like it really came down to. Like, come on, bro. That's not the case. And I think it's sort of. Oh shit! It sort of made me like really want to look into this or talk about it because it did like upset me in a way that it shouldn't have, but because Philip DeFranco was talking about it, I was like, oh, he thinks it's dumb too, so the way I feel is valid, But I know there are other people on the spectrum where they believe otherwise, where like, yeah, video games do cause acts of violence, and I'm just like, where are you coming from, man? Whoa! Oh! Oh, damn, I thought I could side B earlier. I guess not. I guess don't mind. Oh, shit. Brrrr. Oh, damn. You caught me, bro. Caught me slipping, literally. Boop. 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 I'm surprised you haven't gone off stage for me. Ooh. Ooh. Come on, baby.
Damn. I tried to block it.
Oh, nice. Oh. Oh. Oh, excuse me. Oh, that was disgusting. Come on. He said, oh, you're going to do a dash attack? I'm going to run away real quick. Oh! Oh! Oh, gosh. This is not looking good for me. Dude, what? Oh. What you got? What you got? Oh, gosh. Lord have mercy! Ugh. Oh, that didn't even reach. Later. Oh! How did they not kill you? What? I'm so confused. That down smash should have killed you, bro. Oh. No! Oh, you saw the air dodge. You say, he can get scared. I'm away. Wow, you waited on me. That was good.
See, I wouldn't have been able to do that while I was answering all these questions that you're talking about.
I think you could have, actually. Yeah, I think we're both at the same level at this point. We're both semi-pro.
Yeah, but I still want to beat you.
So you want to put in that extra effort just to come on.
Yo, I thought it was pretty interesting. As I was doing some of the research for this topic of discussion, I didn't go too far into like the effects of it on the children and stuff like that. I was just kind of taken back by going through the origins of the games that came out and that portrayed some type of violence, and I didn't think anything of it. I was like, I was playing these games. Not once did I think I was gonna go beat some kid's ass or something.
Right. Not once did I think I was gonna pull out a gun or some shit. Like what?
I guess.
Yeah, and I saw you added some to the article not the article, I'm sorry, but the document that we have for today's show, and I was like, oh wow, this guy really did put in some, not just some, but a lot of information on the topic, but not statistics or facts that I was actually.
Is that what you were looking for?
Yeah, no, and I like that because a lot of people are going to look for statistics about the kids, and I feel like that's already common knowledge. It might not be, but I think I like the approach that you took because you actually named games and when things started to come into effect, or when a lot of this was coming into effect. For instance, like you said, the first video game.
Oh, Death Race?
Yeah. But I love how it all started back in comics too. I was like, what? Like, this doesn't even make any sense. Oh man, I was not anticipating that. Oh, nice. Booga. Nice. Hooah. 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 Damn, man, dude. Otro. Oh, bitch! Let's go, baby. Go. Damn, nice. You waited for that. You waited for that. I just threw it out there. I was like, he's gonna throw it. I need to do it. It's based out of fear, bro. You knew one of his fears. Oh, you got hit by it, bro. Oh, what? I lost it? Come on, Marino. Oh. Oh, that was such a good dodge. Oh, what the? That was nice. Am I losing touch here, bro? Ah!
Fuck!
Game 3. Yeah, like, wow, bro. Playing Smash right now, I kind of want to go out into the alley and beat some ass. You know what I mean? Like, I want to go smash somebody's face in.
Yeah, bro. I just want to turn into Ness and grab a bat and just start beating people's ass with this shit. I don't know. That's such a great character to beat.
Right. Wow.
You think I could beat Dr. Mario and throw pieces of Adderall at people? Right? They'll probably thank me.
Well, I wonder what this is going to do.
Oh,
to
man,
you.
I was having a rough day till you showed up. I could get a lot done tonight.
Game 3. But I do recall seeing this article that a kid went to go save his aunt or grandmother, and he drove her to the hospital. He was only like 12 or 13 years old, and he drove. You know, he obviously was in trouble, but his family member was in need of medical attention, you know? And they asked him where did he learn how to play, or where he learned how to drive, and he said GTA.
Oh, so it also saves lives, huh?
That's what I'm saying, bro. I'm like, video games out here saving lives, and y'all out here thinking that it's destroying lives. Excuse me? Since when? Where? I want to know where.
Bro, I was behind you. How did that fucking happen?
Booga! Oh, nice. Ooh, I took a little big one. I said, It was wet. Oh, gosh!
Wow, son.
Oh, because I thought I could, throw in a little Wheel of Fortune, Wheel of Death. Oh, bet. Wait, hold on. That didn't make any sense to me.
Wow.
Beautiful. If you ask me, it was beautifully executed. Oh. One more of those and I could die. Oh, I ain't dead! Oh. Nasty foot. Yo, a hair over, that would have been a nasty spike. That's it for you.
I hate you so much when you do that, bro. God, that's so annoying. Especially how clear it sounds when you damn head. It's like that standout.
Yo, that was a solid fight though. That was good.
Actually,
what you trying to do next, bro? Let's run these big boys though. You trying to run some big boys?
Yeah, say less, bro.
Bet.
Say less, bro.
But yeah, continuing our conversation before we jumped into today's topic of discussion.
What's up?
I as well got some new toys, bro.
Oh yeah, tell me about your new toys, bro.
So
What you get?
I got what we call reflectors. I got what's called a V-flat, and I'm trying to use them so they work as backdrops or replace my backdrops, even though that's not their main purpose. But you could use them as backdrops. But as you know, we're in a limited living space, so a solution for me, so I'm not constantly having to, set up, break down this entire freaking backdrop and lights. I thought, let me find a replacement. And these were it, because not only do I need another reflector, or a reflector that's going to work for me, that won't, that won't require me to ask of assistance. It wasn't worth it. So to sort of expand on that, I have a reflector that is amazing. It has a silver and a gold side to it, in case I want like something warm, or something just a neutral reflection, you know. So a lot of times I have to ask somebody to help me because I don't have a stand to hold it.
Yeah.
So, you would assume the next logical investment would to be a stand that holds the reflector for me. But what I did is thought, hey, let me just buy something that will help me eliminate that overall. So this V-flat can be used to bounce lights, to eliminate light, to add lights, all that good jazz. And they're called V-flats.
Yeah.
So I got 2 of those bad boys, and to me they look like things that you use to present in school. What do you call those things that you open and close?
I have no idea.
It was like
I know
cardboard.
what you're talking about.
It was like cardboard. I forgot what they're called. But yeah, it's essentially a $400 freaking school. What do you call those? I'm so mad.
Nice.
Good game. Poster boards.
There you go.
It's a $400 poster board looking motherfucker. So essentially, I can edit whichever way I want, whether I want it to be a reflector and a backdrop, or 2 reflectors, one eliminator, whichever way I want.
Right.
And it's funny, what led me to complete this purchase was because, as we discussed prior on the show, I won a contest, and it actually allowed me to win V-Flat's dual board.
Right.
And I received those, and I was just like, you know what? Since I'm having issues production while I'm having shooting, and I'm having issues steaming and having a good time on set, why don't I just go ahead and invest in this company that I just won anyways and see. Oh, wow. I did not expect that to happen.
That was dirty.
That was dirty. And I was like, and let's see if this investment is worth it. And man, taking it out of the box, bro, I already don't regret it. Oh, no! Wow! That was dirty. I didn't even touch that second stock, bro. That was just nasty. Oh. So yeah, I bought that. It came in. I'm excited to use it. I'm gonna have a photo shoot. I was gonna plan on shooting today, but I was like, hey, today we have a show. Let me just focus on that. I also got some accessories for some mics that we have coming in. I purchased the Rode Mic Go 2. Excited to incorporate that into the show. And yeah, it's some good call. I also invested in some Rode MTVs because we need them boom mics, bro. We need them boomers.
I agree.
And I needed just some good audio for my channel as well, because as you all know, I have a YouTube channel, and I need just good audio, because even you yourself said it. There's some pretty poor audio coming from me. So I'm excited. Those are just some toys that I bought and I look forward to using. Oh, wow! I'm glad I didn't. That's it, you did. Wow, bro, it's like I can't even.
Oh my! Wow! Yo, I got a question for you though.
Yeah.
So as long as you've known me, you've known that I've been into audio. Never really had any type. The only camera that I had was a Canon DSLR Rebel SL2, and even then I didn't really know much about it. I mean, I knew that I had a camera. I just wanted to take pictures. Very average, something that average. Yeah, an average photographer will probably say that that doesn't know a damn thing, that just clicks on it, takes photos. That's all they do. But I purchased this camera that ran me quite a bit of money.
It's
an
investment.
It's an investment, and I'm new. So to you, I don't have as much experience as you with cameras. I don't know as much knowledge. I didn't go to school for any of this. I just did my research based on the quality of image that came out in terms of what I wanted for pretty much my brand. How does that make you feel when somebody purchases something that they don't really know much about compared to you, if you have more knowledge than me, and I put all this money into it?
Right.
Yeah, how do you feel about that?
It's actually It's not bad. I feel like, not only did you involve yourself when you first bought your Rebel, you went out there and you experimented. 1.
Yeah.
2, you are the type of person where if you don't know something, you will not try to throw money or other resources at the issue. You're the type of person where you're going to deal with that issue head on by trying to inform yourself, expand your knowledge. Was it a good idea in the middle of a pandemic? Probably not. But because we have a job to do, but because we're running a business, or because we're running a show, because you want to invest in yourself, hell yeah, it's a good idea. Granted, you still, like you said, you don't have too much knowledge, so I feel like you still have a lot to learn, but I think it's good for you because you get to build on this. This is a starting point, What you were using back then, or what we were using just last week.
Right.
The Canon, it's a crop frame. It's something for beginners. And you went from beginner to professional. And there's nothing wrong with that because now you get to build a foundation from here. Because if you were to go out and spend money on crazy glass, spend thousands of dollars on glass on that crop frame, not to say that you won't have a successful career, but it's redundant. Because you could just then spend this money because you already know the trajectory of where you want to go, where your career is going to take you. Why not make the investment on the camera and, upgrade professionally? You already know you're going to learn along the way. You've already dove into Photoshop because you and I have had a photo shoot together. And you said, you know what? You took the photos, let me edit them. You dove into Photoshop. A lot of people don't even have the guts to do that. They'll just go ahead and edit on their phone. They'll take pictures on their phone. There are professional photographers that still shoot on their phone, edit on their phone. So to me, it was a good investment. It's a good starting point, I should say.
Yeah, that was one of the thought process behind it, because I was like, man, one, I don't want to buy another camera and then find out that, it's not what I want. It's not what I want.
Yeah.
And then here I am finding myself, well, maybe I could sell it. I mean, I'm probably going to lose a little bit of money on it. Or I just suck it up and go all in and be good for a while. Because it's pretty much like I don't see myself purchasing another camera like this unless for some fucking reason we really need another camera.
Right. And keep in mind, the way the future is moving, remember, film moved on to digital.
Right.
And then it was DSLRs.
Yeah.
A lot of professionals like, oh, no one's moving on to digital. Everybody moved to digital. Now it's DSLRs to mirrorless. And a lot of the professionals, no one's going to use mirrorless. But Sony is now ahead of Nikon in sales, in production, because Nikon, although it wasn't the last to move on to mirrorless, they refused to get with the times. And now Canon came out with a new mirrorless. Nikon came out with a new mirrorless. It's just the way that cameras are evolving. Right. So the fact that you knew, you know what, I'm not going to get a professional grade DSLR. I'm just going to go ahead and invest in a mirrorless because that's what's evolving right now. So you made the smart decision with going with something that is as massively produced as Sony. Yeah. Because that's one, if not the most popular camera right now is Sony, especially the Alpha line. Right now, I think the most popular one amongst professionals is the A9 or the A9 Mark II. That is like the equivalent of the Z7 Mark II for Nikon, or the R6 for Canon. You know what I mean? Those are like equilibrium. No, I don't think that's the proper term to use in this one, but they're all pretty equal right now. You know what I mean? So I feel like, since Sony is at the top of their game right now, everyone's using Sony. It's more, what do you call it? Like iPhones are more common than Androids now. What do you call that? When it's more accessible. It's more accessible now. So I feel like, although I'm not a fan of Sony, I think you evolving from Canon to Sony is only going to benefit you in the long run. Because right now we're still in the beginning stages of our business and your career, wherever it's going to take you. You know what I mean?
Because it had to do with the live with our streaming business as well.
Yeah.
But it also had to do with just kind of elevating, just kind of elevating my brand as well, because it's like we're living in a time where, you know, you have to do it yourself now.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
If you don't have a team to help you out, you have to figure it out for yourself. And, you know, one of the best things that I probably did, which kind of now I figured it out, that it's like, yeah, I bought a Mavic Pro 2 and I had buyer's remorse when I bought that thing, because I was like, fuck, I only used it once. But now it's a little bit different, because I actually picked up a camera that I really enjoy the way that it picks up you know, the footage, and not only that, it takes pretty good photos too. So it kind of makes like a good team. And then the way I look at it is like, fuck, man, why didn't I just do this a while ago? Why didn't I just do it now or before?
But let me before you move on, let me debunk what you said. You said, I like the way the camera takes the pictures. The camera's not taking the picture. You're taking the picture.
Oh, thanks, bro.
You just like the quality of the image. Because remember, the image would not be taken if you don't press that button, if you don't set the settings, if you don't zoom in, if you don't choose the focus. You took the image.
Thanks, dog. Appreciate that.
So you like the way you took the image, but you do like the quality that the camera produced. And that's what a lot of people say, and it kind of frustrates me, because I've had clients tell me too.
Again, I'm new.
Yeah, true. But the clients would tell me like, yo, I like the way your camera takes pictures. The camera's not taking the picture here, buddy. I'm taking the pictures. Right, exactly.
Get it right, get it sights.
But no, I completely agree. It does suit you. It's very on brand with you. I completely agree. It's right on the head though. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but I'm glad you picked it up. I'm glad that it was kind of like, well, how can I approach this? How can I elevate myself? And you know, what can I do to help me stay creative? And you know, for the when I bought this camera, I was like, fuck, did I make the right choice? Should I just have like, you know, should I just have got the regular A7? And I would have been perfectly fine, you know. But
you got to look at it as an investment, not a purchase.
No, I know. But once I got my hands on it and I started playing around with it, and then I just really started feeling the camera, I was like, okay.
I made the right choice.
I get it now. I get it now. I get it.
Yeah. And no, I completely agree, because for me, although I shoot Nikon, I feel like the camera that's most on brand with me is Fuji.
Ah, gotcha.
So right now, the one that I'm looking at in the near future would probably be the Fuji X-T4. That one is monstrous. Like, that one is just freaking beautiful, because that camera is essentially like playing with a film camera, but it's digital, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think you told me that.
So somebody, and I think oh, that was nasty. I think influencer said it best. Shooting on a Sony, Nikon, or a Canon that we shoot with now is like driving an automatic car. But when you're shooting with a digital Fuji, it's like driving a modern manual car. And he said it so perfectly. Like, the settings are freaking all up to you. There's a dial for the aperture. There's a dial for the ISO. There's a dial for the shutter speed. And although you have that with these cameras, it's not the same. Like, I can show you a film camera, and the Fuji X-T4 looks just like that film. Yeah. Because of the dials up top. Right now, all you have to do is you have to look at the screen or through the viewfinder to confirm that the settings that you have it at are indeed what you change the dials. Oh no! No! That was out of fear. Oh, I still had a jump and I upbeat. Oh, because I thought you were coming for me, bro. That was scary. I feel like that's the camera that's more on brand for me. But like I told you before, the reason why I shoot on Nikon is because when I first started my photography career, long before I started photography in college, when I was taking photos in high school, I was shooting on a Nikon. And it wasn't film, it was digital.
Yeah.
But I was just so used to the ergonomics, the way the camera felt in my hand. I didn't mind the Canon. It's just I didn't like the way it felt in my hand. The software was completely different. I didn't feel comfortable using the software. And I loved the quality of the images that came out on the Canon. It was just more so preference. Big Ambo. You beat my ass. It's just more so preference. And for me, since I shot on so many crop frames, except the D5, that's the one that Cisco had. He had a professional one with a zoom lens, and it was stolen. So I went out and I bought my first camera in high school, and it was the D3500. And that's like, it doesn't even have like a flip screen. Like, it's just a dead screen, a fixed screen, automatic effects. Like, you could still go on manual or aperture, but it was like very basic of it. It was like very beginner camera. And then in college, that's when I bought the 5500, which we are now using for Marino here. No, I'm sorry. This is the 5600. The 5500 I actually broke recently this year. No, I'm sorry. 2019 is when I broke it. And as of recently, I bought the mirrorless full frame. So for a majority of my life, I was shooting crop frame. And the industry, they'd be like, oh, that's a no-no. As a professional, you want to be shooting full frame because a full frame sensor mimics 35 millimeter. So that's why people are like, oh, you shoot crop frame? Are you really a professional? And that was always a debate with amongst photographers.
You know what, bro? I'm not gonna lie, bro. One of the things that, especially now that I got into something that I don't know, because a lot of people, a lot of artists really try to ruin the music side of things for me when I first got into it, because I was a beat maker. They're like, oh, you don't know music, you don't know this, you don't know how to play, you don't. I was like, I don't give a fuck. So now that I'm getting into something where I don't know anything about it, and to be honest with you, I don't care. I don't care what these people think of me. They're like, oh, you bought something just because whatever. Bro, who gives a fuck why I bought it?
Right. Like,
did you buy it? Is it your fucking money?
Right.
What's the problem here? Mind your fucking business.
Mind your goddamn business. No, and that was always the topic of debate because Pantex, when they came out digital, I think they came out with like a couple of DSLRs. But for a majority of their line, when it came to digital, it was always mirrorless. Oh, no. Oh, I air dodged the wrong way. But Pantex has such a great sensor. Their color science is something completely different. And, it's crop frame. I don't think they have a single, they don't have a single full frame mirrorless camera. And with Fuji as well, the Fuji that I'm talking about, it's not full frame. That's actually crop sensor. And for me, like, that's what I love about my path and how my career came about, is because majority of my career as a professional, not only photographer, but videographer, shooting fashion, shooting, like introductory videos or like fashion videos, like all of it being done on my crop frame, I had a lot of, goddamn, that was a good ass game too. I was trying. You beat my ass on this one. And last time we played this one, it was neck and neck.
Yeah, it was
too.
neck and neck. Let's go ahead and finish off with our mains.
It made me really feel like an imposter because I was like, I don't have a full frame.
And that's why that's why I don't listen to. I'm sorry. No offense to y'all, like photographers or videographers or anything like that. I don't listen to y'all anymore because I had that same imposter syndrome when I got into music because I started making beats. A lot of the stuff that I was making, I didn't know how I was making it, but I was making pure fucking fire. And a lot of people didn't like that I was making fucking heat, and I didn't know what I was doing. Yeah. They're like, how are you coming in and you don't know what you're doing and you're making better sounding shit than me? And I know the music theory up and down, like I could fucking wipe my ass with this and go to sleep and still remember it. I don't fucking know what you did, you know what I mean? It's like,
but then again, you did it out of enjoyment, out of like desire, the need to create music, you know?
Exactly.
And I feel like that's the same path that I took with photography. What the fuck? I'm not doing this for the money. I'm just doing this because I love it. I was literally going to school for it. I had to wake my ass up super early just for me to then get my ass to school to take these classes on photography when I could have just done something else. You know what I mean?
Right.
I didn't even have to. I didn't even have to go to school, but I wanted to because I enjoy taking photos. And I completely agree. It really all depends because there's this professional photographer that came out of Chicago, and her name is Swopes. Now she's like holding forums at the Apple store right there on Michigan. And you know what she did?
She's got some dope stuff, bro. I seen her Instagram the other day.
She takes photos off her fucking iPhone, bro. And always did her Photoshop and her shit off her phone. Isn't that fucking crazy? Everything was done off her phone. That's not crop frame. That's a phone camera, bro. That's not even... Professionals would look at that and be like, nah, it's not, bro. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
And I feel like, you know, a lot of professionals will look down on other creators because they're not doing what's quote unquote the norm, or like what the path that we took.
I spent this much money to go to school.
Right.
And here you are getting fucking photo shoots for time or some shit, right?
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, dude. I just, for me, now I just don't care. I just want to shoot, and that's why I decided to make the jump back into film. Like, I went to school for film photography.
Yeah.
And I enjoy it. And now in my career where I'm like struggling to keep the spark and the passion alive because it's become about business and money and this, that, and the third, and less about photography, I'm like, what ways are there for me to keep my passion ignited for this craft that I fell in love with, you know? And I'm glad because it turns out it was what I did in school, film photography, and I'm like, you know what, fuck this business side, you know, like, I obviously need it.
Oh my god.
Out of thirst, baby, out of thirst. I thought, you know what? Oh, wow, I should have seen that coming a mile away. I could have at least gotten something off of you. I just thought, you know what? I'm going to do this because I want to do this, not because I have an agenda to follow, not because I feel like I need to meet a certain status, or because I need to, you know, do what professionals or people think I need to do. I'm just going to do it because I love to do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And actually, it's funny. I just picked up a film Nikon. It's actually a point and shoot. It's not an SLR. But my goal is to actually buy an SLR. And that thing is expensive. Damn, good game. The camera is the Nikon F3.
Yeah.
And it's a film camera. Keep in mind, it runs just as much as this camera.
Oh no shit.
$3,000. I'm like, do I want to get it? And keep in mind, I could buy a used one for like a fourth of the price. But to say, oh, I have a pristine, like, mint condition fucking F3.
Okay, I see.
It speaks to me, you know? And what's crazy...
Who doesn't, though? Who doesn't?
True. And what's crazy about this camera is it's so modular. You know how there's medium format cameras, right?
Right.
So there's 35 millimeter and medium format, and then large format. This one is a 35 millimeter, but it's so functional, it could work as a medium format. So most medium format cameras are the cameras that you see in like old movies where you see the person looking down into the camera to see what they see in front of them as opposed to hold it up to their eye. You know which one I'm talking about?
No.
I'd have to show you photos. I wish I could show you, or show the audience too, because not a lot of people do know what medium format is. But yeah, it's a camera where essentially it has like two lenses, one where you look down into, and another one that's capturing the actual image. And with the F3, you can actually modulate it so it actually, you look down into it as opposed to putting your eye in.
Yeah.
It's so like versatile. I'm like, damn, dude, I really want this camera. Actually, it's the one. If you guys look at my story, for those of you watching, if you look at my
that's the
story,
one. I know what you're talking about.
And it had like another $3,000 freaking lens on it. I'm like, damn. I think it was an Oct. So right now, Nikon has an Oct lens for the new mirrorless camera. Damn, you went. I could have aired out sooner. They have one where it's the f-stop goes down to 0.95. I'm like, damn, what do you need a freaking lens with aperture that low? Granted, you do get your bang for your buck, but for the Oct lens for the new Nikon mirrorless camera, if I'm not mistaken, it costs around 10 stacks. 9 stacks.
That's a lot, bro.
10 stacks for
way
a
too
lens?
much.
Yo, my mind was just blown. I said, but that same Oct lens, they came out. They had one for film, so it's not like it was their first Oct lens. They had one for film cameras, and that one wasn't as open because technology was limited back then, and it was film. So this one, the knock was like 1.2 or some shit, something that you dang, that spike was nasty. Oh, that hurt me a little bit. So that the one on my story is not only the camera that I want, but that's the lens that I want. And
The perfect duo, pretty much.
Basically, yeah. That's why I said it's the camera and lens of my dreams. Like, yo, I would replace that happily with the one that we're filming on right now. Like, no questions asked. I would definitely sell my Nikon Z just to get that film camera, because I feel like that's reignited my love for photography, and I'll just go back to shooting on this 5600 like it's nobody's business.
Damn! That was nasty.
That was a good fight too.
Damn, we haven't gone to a third one in a while.
Game 3
bro.
in forever, yeah. Yeah, bro. I went off on a little bit of a tangent, but I just love when people, I feel like I resonate with. This is gonna sound stupid because it's a child's movie, but Ratatouille.
Okay.
Because I truly believe what that chef said. Anybody can do it, and I feel like I agree with that statement from my artistic standpoint.
Right.
Anybody can be a photographer. You just need to take the time and the dedication to study this craft.
Yeah.
As swopes for phone.
Yeah.
People going back to film. Now it's becoming a fad. I don't know if it's going to continue to.
It's like people going back to records, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Right. I don't know if it's going to continue, if it's going to continue to go up. But I feel like people involving themselves in this field, it makes me happy because people are willing to, take the time and be like, well, let me see if this works for me. Because like we had in a conversation prior, like, it's really toxic when you pick something up and it doesn't work out and then you let it go. A lot of people are like, well, you just didn't succeed. And it's just like, no, I didn't like it. It wasn't what I thought it would be, so I no longer pursued it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, for instance, I am not going to pursue beat making. I have no knowledge of it.
Exactly.
But I wouldn't mind doing it as a hobby, I thought it was going to work out for me because I'm like, yo, I need to make my own music because I don't want to pay for music, or I don't want to have to struggle with licensing and shit like that. Like, what was that license that you told me about?
The sync licenses?
Is it sync license? Where you have to use it to, like, use that license to use it on your videos or commercials or whatever, or movies.
Like whenever you get a song or something like that, in order you need permission to use it.
Right, exactly. Like, that's a lot of work. But as I was trying to like make some music, I'm just like, no, this isn't for me. This is not gonna work out. Like, I need to leave it to professionals. Like, I'm glad that I tried because otherwise I wouldn't have known. But now that I did try, I gotta let it go because I know it's not gonna work out for me. I'm a photographer. This is my craft. This is what I gotta focus on, not making beats. You know what I mean? And for instance, not to put your business out there, but you did embroidery.
Yeah.
It didn't work out for you, so you let it go. You know what I mean? Like, you don't constantly have to. You don't have to constantly follow through with what you set out. You know what I mean? Like, if it doesn't work.
I mean, I tried it.
Right, you tried it, and I think that's what's important. We tried it, but if it's not working out, there's no point in forcing something.
Can you imagine if I would have spent, like, okay, so to me, the amount of money that I spent on this camera, I'm not going to disclose how much I spent, but the amount of money that I spent on this camera makes a little bit more sense in terms of how I can use it, right? Compared to like if I would have spent that same amount of money with an embroidery machine. Right? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't really make
that wouldn't make sense. But
No.
because not only do you have numerous functions for this camera, oh shit, you know you're gonna get that money back. You know you're gonna get your money's worth.
And that's really what I was thinking about. I was like, man, I'm gonna make it back somehow. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
exactly. Because not only are you gonna use it, good game. Not only are you gonna use it for your own personal development, you're going to use it for our business,
True,
your business,
true,
and if you so want, for your fucking pleasure. It's nobody else's business.
True.
You know what I mean? And I love that. I'm really happy that you made this investment because I feel like it's just going to help you grow. Like, it only makes sense because you need this, not because you're trying to become a photographer, but you know it's something you need, not just to take photos, but to take videos for live streams. It's a it's a tool in your toolbox that you need for a specific job that you have.
True.
It's as simple as that.
Which, to be honest with you, I can't wait to record like DJ videos. I was playing around with it yesterday. I just got to figure out the audio. I was just, man, it's fucking. I'm pretty happy with what's
I'm excited for you,
what's
bro.
coming
I'm
out.
excited for you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in on this hectic episode 58 of Quip Layin'. Tune in next week where we talk about gambling. We're your hosts, live with Enrique.
Do it, lo hace.
See you next time, YouTube.
Peace out, YouTube.
Peace.